Hi, everybody. Hey, Charlie Egan here of the Egan Group at Holland Chambers Real Estate, and it is January 9th, 2017, the beginning of the year, and this is part of my series on home buyers, email or video series, where I educate home buyers about the process of buying a home. And we're going to talk about lending today. And I have my good buddy Tony Perez from Chase Bank here right now. Before we jump in with Tony, though, I do have a guide from my office. It's called Your Guide to Buying a Home, which is available to all my buyers once we get the process going. And in this particular series of videos, and today I'll be referencing the home buying process, generally before you buy and then the buying process. So first off, we're going to talk about before you buy and the kind of the period when you're, as a buyer, are going to do your, you're thinking about buying, and maybe I'm sending you properties and things like that, and you begin saying, yeah, I think I do want to buy something, but you haven't been pre-approved yet. You don't know if you can afford a home. And that's where Tony comes in terms of being a lender, to give you the information you need to know if you can afford, what you can afford. So at this point in our conversation here, you've come to me and you said, listen, Charlie, I want to buy a home, but I don't know what I can afford. So I'll say, listen, what I want you to do is I want you to talk to Tony, and I'll give you his information, and his information will be attached to this video. But Tony, what do you do when a home buyer comes to you, says, listen, I'm interested in purchasing a home, can you tell me what I can afford?
The first thing I do is I give them two options. If they're looking to just kind of have a conversation around, a general conversation around what they may qualify for, we can do that. But we could also take it to the next level, which is doing a full pre-qualification analysis, where we're able to issue them a pre-qualification letter.
Okay.
So if they just want to talk about what they may be able to afford, I'd still ask them to bring in some financial information, like the last 2 years of taxes and recent pay stubs, and some bank statements to show where the down payment's coming from.
Okay.
And so based on that information, I can get a general idea of where they stand with purchasing. But ultimately, to pull credit would really be helpful, and that would be part of the pre-qualification process.
Okay. So two things are really important in this stage of the home buying process. Is one, you should have some money saved, and Tony referenced that as the down payment. And then also you have to have an income to support your monthly payments. So Tony would like to get an idea. Either you document it by giving him the documents that you have in terms of your bank statements and your pay stubs, or you verbally tell him, this is what I got, blah, 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 and then Tony says, well, based on what you told me, I think you can afford a home that's worth $400,000 or $800,000 or whatever. So I would suggest that you actually go full in and get him all the documents you need, so that it's really legitimate. It's not just pie in the sky thinking, right?
I agree, especially if they intend on making or shopping anytime soon. It's best that we do a full pre-qualification, so they'll know exactly where they stand.
Yeah. Okay. So that said, this is a pre-buying process, a pre-buying phase of your kind of home buying process. So after you've talked to Tony, and let's just say you've given him just verbal information, and you may come back to me and say, listen, Tony says I can afford a home that's $700,000. And so I would then start sending you homes in that price range, or maybe you're getting them already, but we may go out and start looking at a few of them. And then you say, there's a home here I really like. And I'll tell you, okay, what you need to do is you need to go all in with Tony, because in order to buy a home, to go shopping, we need to have a pre-approval letter and proof of funds that you have a down payment. And so if you haven't given Tony that information before, you'll give it to him now, because he has to write a pre-approval letter for us to write an offer on the home that you're interested in. So can you elaborate a little bit more on the pre-approval letter, Tony?
Pre-approval letter would require me to have the documentation, the financial documentation that we talked about before, the last 2 years of federal taxes, with attachments like W-2s, the last 30 days of pay stubs, and the last bank statement for where the down payment's coming from. Banks want to see where that money's coming from.
Okay.
And then we're required to pull your credit
Got it.
report. And so with all that information, we'll be able to issue a pre-qualification letter that they can use to shop, and we can issue it on the spot.
Okay. Now, it could be spouses, so they both would provide the documentation so that they both.
For all
incomes.
applicants, yes.
Okay. And then, is there any programs for 1 year of taxes, or is it only 2 years of taxes?
With Chase, we require 2 years of taxes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, very good. Okay, so that's where we're at then. So after you get your pre-approval letter and we have proof of funds, we could then begin writing offers, and one of them will go through and you'll get the house. And I'll probably do another interview with Tony about the process of once you're in escrow with all the work that's involved on his end. We can touch on it just briefly now. But so Tony, once they go into escrow and they have gotten a pre-approval letter from you documenting all their things, then you order an appraisal, of course.
Correct, yes.
Okay, right away. And then during that month or 45 days that the escrow is going on, you will continue to ask them for documentation on their employment and various things like that as well, right?
That's part of the process, but the way we do it at Chase is we try to gather as much information up front.
Okay.
So there's less questions during the process.
Great.
Yes.
That's great. They have a really well-oiled machine at Chase. Tony and I have worked together on many home purchases. Remember George, what was his name, his first name? They had the kids. Anyway, forgive I'm having a senior moment. But anyway, so we'll tie it up here, and I'll do more videos on the home buying process. And Tony, thank you for coming in.
Thank
you. Tony's information will be, just real quickly before we get off this. Tony, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
The best way to reach me is on my cell phone.
Okay.
And you'll have that information on the link, right?
Yes, I will. Why don't you give it to them in just in case?
My cell phone number is area code 213-880-8050, or you can email me at tony.perez, spelled Perez, @chase.com.
Okay, great. All right, so we'll tie it up here. Again, this is Charlie Egan at the Egan Group at Holland Chambers Real Estate, and I'm here to help you buy a home, and Tony is here as well. Thank you very much, and we'll be in touch.